Okay, next options, we have rendering options, and this is we have motion blur. This will apply to the particles if we want to create drops like a rain. So we can apply blur motion, and you can notice when you create a rain, you can see like strikes going. This is effect on this where we apply the motion blur to this, as well as minimum pixel rate. And next, render as metablob. This is mostly when you want to create a liquid look from your particles. If you remember with metablob, we have two blobs we created as example. Let's write here so we can preview. We created two spheres. Okay. And as example, you can see this is just a two. Okay, let me go out in the beginning, camera. And right here we have a two spheres. So if we select these two spheres and we'll switch to metablob, you can see how they start having this liquid form. Okay. As well, you can see if we start extending how thin sometimes can be right here, some of the options, or closer, we have it more close together. Okay, now if we look on a plane, right in our options, what we have it is render as metablobs, so we're kind of linking them together. Threshold is how closer they will detect, and this overlay how closer will gap closing. Again, we can decreasing, make them more separate, or increasing. As well, the tolerance, okay, so the threshold tolerance, it is the faster render, it's errors. The more errors will collect it, the higher tolerance it is. So this tolerance for the errors. And we have a smoothness, it is how liquidity in this smooth effect will apply to the surface without having all these bumps of the particles creating. So this is overall will smooth highest and lowest and create a little bit more liquidity look on the smoothness. Smoothness will increase render time as well as threshold. But again, this is options right here. If you want to create some liquid, you want to enable as metablob and adjust some settings to create this better liquidity. So this is global particle configuration. We'll look on this. And again, they will apply to materials that inside to the particles that are in the same materials, and you can set for different material different properties if you need it for a particle motion. We also can bake. By baking, it's actually take those properties and apply it to the particles. It will take a little bit time originally, but it does will save after time when you start rendering. So if you create liquid water going and you're happy with what's happened, I do recommend bake these particle motions, and after they start rendering, and you'll see in quite a bit increasing in speed of the rendering after you do this. And again, right here is end time, start time for your bake on the frames as well, frames per second. So currently I want to do this, so we'll uncheck it. Okay, and let's look on some other properties.